It's strange for me that the world, so many people, general public, haven't heard of you. I know you from Chanel, I know you from Louis Vuitton, and from creating your own maison on Place Vendôme. But you've never really promoted yourself in an obvious way. I think this is the first time at the Biennale that we really see you showing some visibility to the general public. Has there been a reason for that shyness, if you like, from the press, or?
Yeah, it's a brand I've been building slowly over time by myself. At this point, we didn't want to take any investors, so creating a business like in luxury goods and especially in jewelry is something that's very money consuming. So it takes a little while to build up the inventory, to build up the knowledge, the teams to be able to do that. And now's a shift where, I think it's important to be a little bit more known and share what you're doing. So it took me about 20, 30 years to get there, especially starting from scratch with no name or knowledge takes a little while.
But what do you think was the main reason for the brands like Chanel and Vuitton to come to you? What was your secret? How did you get discovered by them?
Well, I think they gave me a chance, and from then on they sort of saw that it was working, and then we built it from there. The idea is that one of my first assignments was at Chanel's, and they had no clue of what they wanted to do. The only thing they knew is they couldn't copy in real the costume jewelry that they were doing for obvious reasons of size, price, weight. So they gave me a chance and we built it from there. And from Chanel, when people started seeing that it was changing the game in terms of jewelry for everyone, that other luxury brands that were doing fashion could do that. From then on, everybody started asking me to design things, which left me very little time to develop my own brand. And a few years ago I decided it was time to take care of the most important person in the world, which is myself, and I decided it was time that I devote more energy to my own brand and have it known, and that's probably what you're seeing right now.
I think if I remember correctly, what you did at Chanel was a big revolution on Place Vendôme. Before, they were all laughing about the idea of Chanel, some perfume company, coming onto Place Vendôme, and they were just doing their own logos and repeating with more diamonds. And you came along and did some very original jewelry for the first time in many years in Place Vendôme, and they all started to employ artistic directors and change their houses.
Well, it was like, what I did at Chanel definitely was a game changer, because nobody thought a fashion house would have the ability to be able to compete with old established jewelry houses like, Boucheron, Van Cleef, that had been there forever, especially a brand that was so well known for fashion jewelry. So that started it, and we sort of went and looked what the company had, because it had done a little bit of jewelry in the 30s, and we built it from there. And we created a very strong identity using, but in very different ways, all the symbols that they had, black and white, the pearls, the onyx, the camellia, the stars. And that started a whole trend. And I also wanted to rejuvenate, jewelry. That jewelry was easy to wear every day, so I did large rings with a lot of colors, with stones that people were not using on Place Vendôme so much, which were like the amethyst, citrine, things that were very joyful, and also in the spirit of what Coco Chanel had done in the past.
And did you have to do that archive research yourself, or did the group brief you on the DNA of her brand?
No, nobody briefed me, because if they knew what they wanted to do, they wouldn't have needed me. So that was my expertise, and it's something that I've done many years over the years for many different brands. I just did it recently for Guerlain, with their G lipstick with all the 40 interchangeable, different tops. I've done that for Cartier, I've done that for Piaget, I've done that for Baccarat. I'm doing a new line which is going to come out very soon. So it's something that I really like to do, is seeing what the companies have and taking it to another or a different level.
So I think that's very much what we see with the top fashion designers, like let's say Karl Lagerfeld or Marc Jacobs, working for a house, that you take the pressure off having to be profitable too soon with your own brand, that you can express yourself with your own brand as an artist. Do you think that would be correct?
Yeah, it's also, I'm happy to express myself through my own brand, but it also helps working for other fashion brands or jewelry houses, because it allows you to gain expertise, channel money into your own company, and then, you know, to have other people take the risks that I now take with my own brand, with what I do here. And, you know, also when you have your own brand, you need to look after a lot of other things than just designing. You have to look at manufacturing, managing stores, clients, you know, so it's a very large variety of new things that you have to be good at to be successful, not only designing.
I think for you the big impact was winning the competition to do the tiara for the Princess of Monaco, which was traditionally a Van Cleef client. Could you tell us a bit more about that story?
That was something really very interesting and challenging and fun. So being able to win an anonymous competition, you know, because they asked 4 or 5 different houses to do anonymous sketches, and then the prince and the princess-to-be looked at the sketches and they picked my sketch in order to wear it the night of the wedding, you know, so that was really a big deal, because it showed that with anonymous condition, everybody at the same level, I was able to be the one that was going to be picked. So it was really a great moment. You know, you try to find the best of what you have with somebody else. You know, for instance, I love the ocean. I'm a surfer. She surfs too. She loves the ocean. Monaco is on the water. So it seemed very natural that in the tiara we would represent what had to be, you know, similar or in common with all of us. And the idea was also to do something really new. You know, the things my jewelry is all about is innovation and jewelry that says a story. You know, there's something behind the jewelry. It's not like stones put together. So that's exactly what this tiara does. So what the tiara does actually is that, you know, it's innovative because it's asymmetrical, and then it's also like it really represents what the Monaco family, what Charlene is really all about, which is a crashing wave on the rock of Monaco.
I think, yeah, it was an engineering feat as well. It's the first in the world to ever have a tiara which was really just coming from one side, and with the heaviness of the stones, it must have been a nightmare to complete that piece.
It was really interesting because when you look at tiaras, they're all symmetrical, so that they hold symmetrically on the head. And there, if you have the weight, you're coming out of the church and the tiara falls on because it's like, oh, tilted. You know, it was really interesting. So we had to do actually a lot of trials, see the weight, the repartition, how it was going to be on the hair. And then we had to deal with all sorts of really fun and interesting issues. Is that between the wedding and when she was going to go to the dinner, there was only half an hour. So with the hairdresser, we had to do rehearsals just to make sure that within half an hour the hair could be done, the tiara put in there, everything in place, everything working, and that she would look gorgeous and fabulous like she did. So a lot of the times, you know, that's what jewelry is also all about, is that you have unexpected things happening and you always have to adapt.
I think what I find surprising to see you here at the Biennale is that you actually, there's no photo of that incredible piece at all to educate people into actually what you've achieved already. Because for many people, they'll walk in here and see exceptional pieces, but I think that was really a landmark in French jewelry, actually. Is there a reason for you not boasting about that, if you like?
Yeah, it's also something I'm not so good at that. You know, as a creator, you always look to the future, not the past. But the reality is that many people don't know our past or what we've accomplished. So, for instance, tiara right now is being displayed at the Forbidden City in Beijing. It's a major event. It's true that we're not putting it up front. So that's also something you have to learn when, as a creator, you start to work on your brand, is that, you know, you don't necessarily always creating, you're also explaining what you're doing, why you're doing what you've done, and all of that, and it's not something that's natural as a creator. So far I've been just wanting to show the new stuff, do a collaboration with an artist who's painting the booth during the whole length, just to show that this is all about creation. So I think, you know, in the future we'll probably be able to say more about what we've done in the past and accomplished. When you come to Biennale, you know, but it's also the rule in my life, I just want to do things that I love and that I think are beautiful. And, you know, being a designer, you're always trying to aim for the best. The most beautiful stones. We research the stones, you know, all over the world just to be able to find things that are special, unusual and colors that are like vibrant, that sparkle a lot with a really interesting cut. So that's also part. It's not only about designing, it's also about sourcing the amazing materials that will turn our creations into being something special. That's my focus, is my domestic market, the American market, where I can speak the language, which is a little bit easier. But then on the other hand, I'm open to, interesting collaborations, offers, opportunities, I think it's good to have like a plan and then be open to opportunities that can arise as you go.